What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm Element.
I'm Flip.
And as always, we get together every Sunday to talk about all of our favorite TV shows, movies, and everything pop culture. This week, we have a top 5 characters of Arthdal Chronicles. Let's go.
Thank you guys. Thank you for joining our humble community. It's small, but it's growing. But
yes,
we just wanted to say thank you for your interest in Arthdal Chronicles. It means so much to us.
Yes, as Flip said, you guys have been engaging. You guys have been leaving comments on our previous Arthdal Chronicles video. And so what we're going to do is going to be answering the question, who is our favorite characters? We're going to go one step further and we're going to give you our top 5 characters of Arthdal Chronicles. Now, it was really tough doing this because there's a lot of characters we like in the series, but I think we nailed it.
I think so too. I think we've come to a consensus. I myself have a favorite character, and so do you.
We both do.
And let's get to it.
Before we get into our list, massive spoiler alert. If you have not finished the first season of Arthdal Chronicles, that is the first 12 episodes, we are going to be talking about some huge topics in this entire season. So if you haven't seen it, get out of here.
And if you just want the spoilers, just stay and watch the video. Help our analytics.
Before we get into our main list, we do have some honorable mentions. Who's on that list?
Anthony Mackie.
Yes, the Korean Anthony Mackie. Now, if you don't know who we're talking about Mugwang. He's one of the top warriors in the Daikon forces. He works alongside Gitoha and Mubek. And whenever he has this smirk on his face, it's a certain smirk that he does. And the first time I saw it was when they were capturing the Wahan tribe. And Tanya was, cursing him.
Yep.
He had this little smart-ass smirk on his face, and I was like, that is Anthony Mackie for sure.
For me, it's not even the smirks or the nuances that he has on his face. Every time I see him on screen, he reminds me of Anthony Mackie. And if you guys agree, leave a thumbs up on this video down below.
Yeah, and if you need a reminder, here's a picture. Second person on our honorable mentions list is Sanare. Only because my bias in Blackpink is Jisoo, and even though her appearance in the series was about a second or two, I feel like if they explore the past even further, they give us more flashbacks, we'll see more of her, and Jisoo's always great to have anywhere.
Great to have anywhere,
Yes.
Only because that's your bias.
Yeah,
but it was good to see her as a blink as well.
Yes.
As an honorary blink in this channel. I was very surprised to see Jisoo. I did not know that she was gonna be on it, but it was awesome. I was like, oh my god, that's Jisoo. So she's an honorary mention as well.
So topping off our list at number 5, we're going to start with Chae-yoon and Nunbyul. It's a tie between the two. Now Chae-yoon, she's part of the Bachi Guild. She works with Harim, who is the medicine man for the Union. She helps Eunsung when he first arrives from ER. She has continually provided help, whether it's to nurse him back to health after he has been gravely injured, or keeping secrets that he, is around, and even taking care of the lost son of Wahan, Dori. She's like, even though she's not playing like such a huge role in the more like the grander scheme of things, she's providing essential help where it's needed.
Yeah, and she's kind of like the humanitarian of the whole Union, right? Like everybody looks down on Ingutus and like all of the lower races or lower tribes from Arthdal.
The Jumsungs,
yeah, she kind of provides the humane kind of empathetic kind of view to the world, right? She thinks that everything should be like we're humans, right? Like we treat each other with respect and we love each other and treat our neighbors.
She's kind of like the centrist.
Yeah. And I think Nunbyul makes this list because there's so much mystery to her character. She's a Neanderthal.
Yes, and she's one of the last remaining Neanderthals, which means she could have an important role in the future seasons or in the future story. We don't know. We do know that the 2 remaining Neanderthals that are existing right now that we know of are looking for someone. And they went to her as a Neanderthal.
Asked her to come
join.
Along, yeah.
And she may, have something to do with later stories, later narratives. Who knows?
I could totally see, and this might be a prediction, but I could totally see her teaming up with the Neanderthals and Eunsung later down the line. I mean, she's already practicing that swordsmanship, so she could be an integral part in some kind of epic showdown.
One thing I do want to see out of Nunbyul is a payoff to her being a Neanderthal, because there has to be something behind the scenes going on with the two that are survivors and just in hiding, right? I think in the future narrative, those Neanderthal, and I think Neanderthal as a race is going to rise up again.
Right.
And I think they're going to do it with the help of Nunbyul, because she's the last remaining female, right?
Yeah,
so,
and this is Arthdal Chronicles. They usually pay off these story arcs. If it was Game of Thrones, they'd probably just forget about it.
Yeah. Now, next on our list, obviously, is another tie. We told you guys there was a lot of characters to cover, and there's a lot of characters that, you know, come into our list as favorites. And so the next one is a tie. Who's on number 4?
Number 4, we have Tanya and Taylor.
Taylor and Tanya. Now, obviously, Tanya is on the list because she has been confirmed as the direct descendant.
The prophecy is coming true.
Of Assassin.
Assassin, the direct descendant of Assassin. She came down from the mountain, started the Weihan tribe, and she
passed on her knowledge.
Passed on the knowledge, and she is the next Dreamweaver. Like, I have Dreamweaver in my head, but she's
High Priestess.
She's next. Well, High Priestess for Arthdal, but for the Weihan tribe, it's kind of different,
mother.
right? Mother. She's the mother.
She's the Great Mother.
The Great Mother.
And I thought it was an interesting way to pay that off, because as I first started watching this series, I thought that it was super spiritual and super interesting to have her dance and her part as a mother of a tribe, but I didn't realize they would have thought that far ahead, where that dance would coincide with her finding the Star Bell, and just like every step that she took and every word of the prophecy she's been told from her upbringing led to her finding it, from learning how to sling the rocks and the dance that teaches her where exactly to land.
My mind is blown just how all of that paid off. I mean, she did the dance, and she did it right, and she didn't stumble, and she like did the last pose where she had to like look up, and that's where the Star Bell was.
They did a really good job of interweaving like the flashbacks to her connecting the dots between what she's been told and how she's seeing things unfold in front of her. That's why she's on the list. I think she would be higher, but there again a lot of characters.
A lot of characters. We'll get to the better characters that we seem to be gravitating towards.
Yeah, and then of course the other side of number 4, Teala. You know, she's kind of like Cersei almost.
I wouldn't call her so much like Cersei.
No, not like a mirror of Cersei, but she is like the political player.
Oh yeah,
in this series.
I love Teala on this side of the list because she's almost like the counterpart to Tanya, pure-hearted, very spiritual. Where Teala is like more of like the conniving, like, you know, scheming behind the scenes. But she's really good at it. She uses her beauty. She uses her aggressiveness, and she is fearless. So I love her character.
I love her character too. You know, more often than not, she's kind of switching sides all the time just to play one person.
She questions herself when it comes to Tagan, but she is ultimately loyal to him.
Yeah, but the most important thing that I think that makes her character so well-rounded is her politics in switching sides. She tricks the He tribe. She tricks Tagon. She tricks a lot of people that are around her.
Her own father.
She played a very indirect / direct. I don't know what I'm trying to say. An indirect direct role in revealing Tanya's direct descendants to Assassin. Like, she wrote a letter that had a hidden code to Tagon, and she had this signal with Tanya that she could, you know, overcome and bypass the hallucinogen. Everything she does, there just seems to be like this long game that she's playing.
And the best part about her is that she can pivot. She can switch her tactics. She can switch her strategies depending on what's happening in front of her, what she's hearing, and it's almost just as good as Tagon can do it.
And she can fight.
And number 3 on our list is Mubek. He's the best warrior in the Deccan forces. And he also kind of just opposes Tagon here and there, but he has like a...
He's like the moral compass. Almost.
Moral compass is the best.
He opposes anything that just doesn't feel right to him. Now, when I first met him and he was on his horseback and they were capturing the Wahan tribe, he looked like he was like all high and mighty. But... you know, as things started to progress, he started to like see things clearly, started thinking critically, started questioning things.
Of course, he discovered that seal.
Yes.
Directly from Asasin.
That's another great point. And so he brings a lot to the table in terms of kind of moving the narrative forward with Tanya's ascendance to being the direct descendant, and as well as kind of pushing Eunsung forward as a prophesied hero or god of Arthdal. We'll talk more on that in just a bit, but I just think he makes this list because he is, you know, level-headed, he's moral, he doesn't just follow Dagon blindly, and whenever he had like an important question to ask himself, he had to seek out the answer for himself. He wouldn't just take anything he was told.
Yeah, he doesn't worship Dagon like everybody else does.
Yes.
You know? They worship Dagon like he's the next coming of
Aramun,
yeah, exactly. And I like Mubek because, you know, you never really quite can tell what he's thinking about, and you never know what he's going to do.
Right, but you can still kind of depend on him to at least come to the more rational decision.
Right. And we're getting down to it. Number 2 on our list is, of course, Dagon. Aramun himself. No, I'm just kidding. We don't know that. He faked it. Right?
Yes,
he faked
that was
it.
definitely faked.
I love Dagon. He's my favorite character in this show.
I like him too.
I just go back and forth, but I love his charisma. I mean, just the way he carries himself.
He
like
definitely
he's always,
has a charisma.
His charisma is just so overpowering. Like, it looks like he's a really good guy, and then he does something really evil, and then you hate it. You hate yourself for rooting for a character like that, but then he does something a little bit more human, and, and he's more caring, and so
I think
it's just a tug and pull for me with Dagon.
Yeah, I think he's more of an anti-hero for me, because you think he has the best of intentions, you think he has the purest of goals, but how he achieves those goals, you know, he'll murder people, he killed his own father, and he'll stab friends in the back, and I just don't think he'll let anybody get into his way. Particularly, he was on the verge of murdering his own brother Danbyok, who was standing in his way, obviously, as the acting union leader when he murdered his father. And so, you know, I like him for like his prowess, his charisma, but you know, I can't root for him because he has some really, really evil means to justify.
That's what I mean. It's just, I feel bad for rooting for him, but I'm also loving his character. So, Dagon, that's my favorite character.
Finally, we get to our best character of Arthdal Chronicles, our last slot, number 1 on the list. Yes, you guessed it, because we haven't said his name yet. Eunsung. Or Saya.
Another double header on that one.
Or Aramun Hesela.
Oh, Aramun Hesela.
Now, just like Tanya, he was born under the Azure Comet to Asahon. He's an Igutu just like Dagon. There's some prophetic things going on with this guy. He was seen riding Kanmaru by Mubek, and Mubek swears he's Aramun Hesela. When he was captured as a slave, we saw Kanmaru speaking. He was weak.
Yeah.
Like, there are some mythical things happening around Eunsung, and I firmly believe, now this is just speculation, that he is Aramun Hesela, and he doesn't know it yet, and the 2 Neanderthal that we've seen that are looking for someone is looking for him, and they're going to train him, and that's going to be the rise of Neanderthal. Now wait, shut the fuck up.
What is it? Oh, this is getting so exciting, because I do think Eunsung is Aramun, and there are 2 interpretations of the prophecy, Arthdal and Wahan. The Wahan prophecy is that the one who will break the shell will arrive on the day of the blue comet, accompanied by death.
And the Arthdal prophecy is the child born on the day when the Azure Comet arrives will bring calamity.
Ooh, what do you think that means? Like, I don't know, on the Wahan side, I think it's like, it's the start of a new generation, a start of a new community, a new people.
Well, you know, my interpretation of the prophecy is that calamity is just a figurative term that brings change, right? It brings upheaval to how you know your life, right? So if the Arthdal people and the Union are living in their beautiful kind of paradise, and Eunsung as Armun Hesela comes from Eark and kind of breaks that mold and like breaks apart the union. That might be calamitous, but it's also prophetic because, you know, they would unite under Armun Hesela, right? And Tanya, being the direct descendant of Assassin, can acknowledge him as such.
Yes, and the part about accompanied by death, well, obviously these changes are big, and so there's gonna be lots of epic showdowns, lots of epic fighting.
There's gonna be a lot of Neanderthals killing them.
It's gonna be Eunsung versus Tagon, and it's gonna be epic.
Now Saya is on this list also because he's the other half of Eunsung. Now he's also the second child of Asahun. You know, they were both separated in the beginning, and he's also an Igutu, right?
Also part of the prophecy.
Yes, they were all born under the Azure Comet, right? But we don't yet know his role in this narrative. You know, he's kind of like Nunbyul in this sense. He's mysterious. We don't know his role in the bigger picture of this narrative, but he's on the top list because he's for sure gotta be important going forward, especially if Eunsung is in fact Armun. Now there's like 50% of me that thinks that Eunsung is Armun Hesela, like confirmed, triple confirmed. And then the other 50% of me that thinks Saya is 50% Armun and Eunsung is 50%. They're like kind of inhabiting like the left brain, right brain situation.
I like that though. I like that because what if like in the later seasons, Saya gets to ride Kanmaru too?
Yes.
And so maybe those two were meant to be together at the end to become Armun.
Now, the thing that brings me to that speculation is when Kanmaru is observing Eunsung being captured as a slave. Kanmaru says, "This one is weak."
Ooh.
And so maybe the other part of that statement is maybe the other one is strong. So I think together they will make a more whole Armun Hesela.
I love that. I can't wait for that to happen because I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I really do think. Guys, let us know your theories. Let us know your favorite characters down in the comment section below. Click that like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel. Get to know us, join our community, and we'll see you into the next one.